Welcome to Amateur Redneck Workshop, and this will be a different kind of video because I'm going to announce a contest, and on top of that I'm going to make a couple little modifications on my plasma table. I noticed the other day when I made some cuts that two of them didn't totally finish the circle, and I got to checking and my belts were loose. They needed adjustment, and two of them are easy to adjust, but the third one I built a motor right on top of the adjustment. So I made a better type of adjustment, which is part of what this video is about. And part of it's about a contest where I'm sure you've heard my my air compressor running in the background, especially when I'm cutting something on the plasma table. And you know that it's just louder than a thunderstorm, you know. And it irritates me, gotta irritate the rest of the world, and I'd like to know a really good way to make a muffler. Now I've sort of made at one, and I'll show it to you in a minute. And so anyway, before I decided to announce this, I called my buddy Chuck and talked to him about it, and then I asked him if he'd like to be the judge. Now that Chuck, he not only is he a certified nice guy, but he's a slick talker, and he just slipped right out of that without ever saying yes or no or, you know, anything. he'd have made a good politician. I guess that's why he's in management and I'm in labor. Oh well. Anyway, let's take a look at my air compressor. I did a little bit of video of that with my cell phone, and I don't know if I'm going to put that in the video or not. I may just, you know, copy it all over again. But what that is a milk jug, which I'm sure you probably figured that out already. I'm partial to milk jugs. And let me come up here closer. You can't see through the darn thing very good with the camera, but I took the muffler off, sort of cut the neck down a little shorter, and screwed it back on where it hold on the milk jug. And then I put a towel through this slit here. And the towel's not really up against the muffler there, it's just in here is a sound absorbent material. And that took the harsh clang 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 off of it, but it's still louder than the devil. So I got to thinking, there's a lot of really smart guys out there, and they've got air compressors, and I bet you they'd like to get in a contest and show how clever they are and how good they can make a muffler for an air compressor. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to back off a little ways and turn this thing on, and we can listen to it carry on. Give or take a couple of feet. This is about how far back I am when I'm using the plasma table. So let me go and turn this thing on. That's certainly louder than I want. I don't want to take that thing off of there and right now. And I didn't I didn't think to do a before and after for the video, but I've got some before that I can cut from another video and put in here, and you can hear just how loud it was before. It'll all be the same thing. But the contest rules, every contest has got to have rules. Now, I guess good enough rules for this is that you design your thing and you do a before and after video of your air compressor so we can hear the difference, and you put your recording device a good 10 feet away from the compressor and turn your microphone up to 50%. Alright, now if you want to enter this contest, you'll want to get a prize. And I thought about, well, what's a good kind of a prize? And cash is always a good prize, you know. I don't have any kind of merchandise around here anybody would want. And I don't have any cash, so I figured, well, how am I going to get the cash? So what the deal is if you want to enter the contest, you send me a $10 entry fee. And the winner gets all the entry fee money. And what we'll do is when the whole thing's over, I will attempt to build whatever kind of a muffler we decide is the best one to go on my air compressor, and we'll try to compare it to what you was listening to right there. I guess this is a fair way to do the contest. Alright, so now the rest of the video, let's just make my little belt adjusters for the plasma table. Alright? I expect from time to time that the belts will need a little adjustment, tightening, you know, on this plasma table. So on this side, that's easy to get to. It's just right out there in the open, and over here on the gantry, that guy's right there in the open. But when you get over to the other end of the gantry, I've got a motor on top of that thing. You can't see what we're looking at. Right over there, there's a motor right above the spot where the belt is fastened down. I didn't plan that very good, but I've got a cure for it. That little spot right there that the belt runs in a circle on, I'm going to make a little plate to go on there to pull it up tight, you know, so I can adjust it from the end, and I'm going to do that with the other side there as well. After all, it's got the same thing over there, and that should make it easy to adjust either side for tension. So to make it, I'm going to cut it something out with a plasma cutter, and there's double reason for using it for that. I just put a new torch on there that's straight up and down, and no more of that thing leaning out, you know, the L shape leaning out over the table. And I've never cut anything with that torch, so we'll have to find out how it's going to work out. Let me get everything set up and get my newly created drawing loaded into the Mach 4, and we'll see what we'll see. Alright, I forgot to start the camera, and I guess it doesn't matter because it didn't make a really good cut. I had changed the speed, and I had sped it up a little bit, which is a dumb thing to do when you got a new torch you hadn't used yet. So anyway, we'll start it over at the same speed I was cutting things before and see if that doesn't work out. Well, the old torch may be better than this one because this thing didn't cut through. It'll be a nuisance if I have to hook the old one back up. Alright, let me slow it down again and see what'll happen. Okay, so I got the pieces that I cut out, shaped, and used a grinder to clean up the edges and stuff. And now they're completed. Well, at least this side. The other side I missed a couple spots with the paint, so I had to start over. But this piece will go on here underneath the screws. This piece right here will be screwed onto the end, and the screw will come into that little depression there, and that's how I would adjust the tension. I can adjust the tension ever so slightly with a screw. It's sort of like a nice analog thing, totally variable. Alright, let me hook it on and then I'll show you what it looks like. Because of the position of this thing, I'm going handheld to show it to you, but there is the piece installed. It holds on to the two bolts that hold the little idler wheels here, and it's got the screw in the end ready to pull things tight. In fact, I've already tensioned this one and tightened down the inner bolts, and everything is great. This is I should have thought of this in the first place. Well, Bubba was down at the beach walking along, and he saw a bottle laying out there in the sand, and he picked it up, and the top was a little rusty, and it fell off, and this genie come floating out of there. He says, "Thanks for freeing me from that bottle." He says, "I'll give you 3 wishes." Bubba says, "Well, at least I know what I want." He says, "I want to be rich." The genie says, "Well, Rich, what's your next wish?" Well, that's all, folks. Y'all try to subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Leave a comment if you got something to say. And above all, remember, keep on keeping on. Bye now.